Okay, so today, uh, it'll be cold outside, so I will do here. Our class. Okay, so we are continuing, uh, you know, in the jewel ornament, based on the jewel ornament, we're continuing. So according to the jewel ornament, we're talking about, basically in the every sentient being possess the Buddha nature, and without any distinguishing. And those beings many times get chance to reborn in the human realms like many times. And in those period of time when you were born in the human realm, also many times you made with the spiritual masters. So those are basic condition, but still we're not really liberating. So what is the main reasons? So Gamboba conclusion of the for this answer from Gamboba said there's some four main problem. You can say four obstacles. One, being attached to this life's activities. Once we really caught up this life's activities, we kind of distracted our meditation, distracted I think you can say long-term benefit, because this life, if whatever we put effort for this life, if that's we can keep continually, we can have that one continually forever, then it's worthy to put effort. But no matter how much we put effort for this life's benefit, sooner or later we have to leave them behind. Every single object, including our body, nothing we can take with us. No matter how great, empire you build in this life, or no matter how great, community you build this life, no matter how great muscular body you build this life, none of them will take, so that way, it's long-termly, it's not really meaningful, or can say use for ourselves. So it's just for the temporary. So one is that one, and two is sometimes we being distracted, kind of a pleasure of samsara. I always said this one, pleasure of samsara is if it's permanent, and nothing wrong with that. If it's a permanent, and it is once you gain and you can have pure joy, then that's wonderful. But the problem is a pleasure of samsara is one, impermanent, because only short time. Two, it always it always bring to some kind of problems, some kind of sufferings. I mean, like these days, most of people's sickness is based on the pleasure of samsara. Diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, everything is based on the pleasure of samsara. So more samsaric pleasure is increasing, more your problem is increase. You know, if you live one bedroom apartment, you know, your bill is smaller, your time to taking care is less, and your worry is less. But of course, it's never be enough for us. We want to be bigger one. We want to be more. So then, it's our monthly bill is becoming increase. Our time to taking care for every week, whatever is it. I mean, increase. I see there's one near our place. That one guy had a really beautiful yard. It's a really big one. It looks really beautiful whenever we drive around there. But the problem is every weekend he's busy for taking care of that, cutting grass. And so for him, I never seen him really enjoying there. Only I saw when he's free time, he's working on them. So I think that way, uh, this is just more property, more headache. So that way, that is showing us a pleasure of samsara is you're increasing of the pleasure of
chúng
samsara.
ta đã đi ngủ với bất cứ một cái sự trả thù nào, một cái
your suffering will be also increase. So that reason saying is Kamoba said. That's the obstacles. Why is the obstacles? Is it because the obstacle of our happiness? Actually, being attached to the pleasure of samsara has become an obstacle of our happiness. So that is the really problem. And so that way, this is second one. And third one is being attached to the peace. Now, this one is maybe people confuse. What is wrong with peace? Peace is wonderful. Everybody want to be peace, and in the Buddhism, actually, our main goal is to achieve the peace and nirvana. Okay, so if you really have no one that you can love, like your pet, your parent, your children, your sibling, your husband, your wife, if you don't care anyone on this planet, then just seek the peace. Don't have to worry. Once you reach to the nirvana, you're okay. You're done. Your achievement is good. If you care anyone in this life, like maybe person, maybe animal, anything, if anyone, you really feel care, you feel deep concern on them, and just if that is that you have, then just getting peace is not good enough you can help them. So that is a problem, So if you're really purely selfish person, have only yourself as a concern, then just peace is wonderful. You get what you want, free from suffering, and just stay on that state. But if you have a sense of care, sense of kindness, sense of compassion toward other than you, anyone, then that peace is not good enough. That peace is not going to help other. You're going to leave your loved one behind. You couldn't help your loved one. Just getting yourself in the state of the peace. If you want to help other than yourself, it's not good enough. Just getting peace. So that way, saying is a peace, being attached to the peace is the obstacles. Make sense? So it's peace is not obstacles. You have to understand. Peace is not obstacles. Peace is not a problem. This is a peace is talking about the nirvana, free from samsara. That is not problem. The problem is that's not good enough if you want to take care of someone, if you want to help someone, because your ability, your quality, your wisdom is not enough to can help someone else beside yourself.
Ngài được gọi là người cuối cùng của tộc gốc,
So
người thuộc thế hệ thứ 7 của tộc gốc, là một người.
So I think this is the main reason why we say in the Kambaba said third obstacle to the liberation is the peace. Is that these reasons make sense? So I mean, as I said before, you know, if you really don't care purely anyone else beside yourself, then just seek the peace and good. Your goal is achieved. You don't need further achievement. You don't need further improvement for your personal. But I don't think so there's anyone who doesn't care anyone else. You know, even you don't care about your parent, you don't care about your sibling, but there's someone you must care, you should care. You know, someone you should. So we will come is it come later as a main reason of the say, because you receive some kindness from somewhere in this life, and if you not repay their kindness, you know, then you're the one of the worst individual become. So it's one. I think this is a good person and a bad person. How to distinguish it is not because somebody is a sweet talker, or not because somebody is always smiling, or somebody is always be gentle. That is not distinguishing good and bad. I heard Mao is a really sweet talker. Yeah, he you know, when you meet that person, those people, they're not that, you know, they not come with the appearance of the evilness. Basically, they know how to talk. They have their own charming, but that does not make them good person. You know, I'm sure you met lots of politicians. They know how to talk. They know how to get into you, but it doesn't mean that they really have good persons. You know, so good and bad is basically when somebody is a remember the kindness and repay the kindness. You know, that is the good person. So that is it. I think for me, I think that is the most important to that quality of the good person, mean that somebody who doesn't forget when they receive the kindness from someone. Because some people, when they receive in the kindness from someone, they become one of the sweetest, but when they come to the repay their kindness, they become a stranger. That is not good person. So that way, if we receive some kindness from somewhere, from anyone, your responsibility, your responsibilities must repay that kindness. So this reason we need to call the what is the antidote of the attachment to pleasure of peace. So this pleasure of peace is not negative, but a problem is cannot repay the kindness by just attached to the pleasure of peace. So how to repay the kindness, or how to free from that selfishness, you know, self-centered, is a meditation on the loving kindness and compassion. So here, loving kindness, you have to use as a loving kindness, not just love, because a lot of people using word as a love. Because when you come concept of the love, nothing have to do care for anyone else except yourself. You know, I love this one, I love that one, I love doing this one, I love eating this one. So it's nothing have to do with your care for other beings. But here, love is come from the Sanskrit word mitra, mitri or mitra, mitriya. So this is I don't think so. English word just using love is the same, because this is a more like I think English called the benevolence, benevolence, or can say friendliness,
Friendliness.
yeah, friendliness, and also kindness. So something say that attitude of wishing that other being may be happy. That is what is loving kindness mean. So I think that's maybe not necessarily same feeling of an English word called love. I think those two little bit different feeling. When you said love, English word, it's a little bit different than loving kindness. So I think it's must use as a loving kindness. So that way here said loving kindness and compassion. So now, what does loving kindness mean? Loving kindness mean, if you look at our prayer book, oh, I don't have the prayer book, but in the prayer book, it's called the Four Immeasurable. I had here. Oh, thank you. Prayer book there's called the Four Immeasurable. If you look, this is a true loving kindness said in the here said, may all mother sentient beings, boundless as a sky, have happiness and cause of happiness. That's the love. You wishing to be someone happy, and they meet with a cause of happiness. Why you so I think that this is the main reason. So this is divided into loving kindness. Oh, sorry. Okay, here. Sorry. So you see here, loving kindness as there's three categories. Loving kindness with the sentient being as an object, mind that want to be all sentient being meet with a happiness. So that is the first one. So why you want to be others to be happiness? What made you think that you wishing to be other to happiness? Or it's because you have to recollect the kindness of sentient beings. You know, we need to recollect our what we receive the kindness from other sentient beings. Then you can wish to be they be happy. You know, anyone you love one, you wish to be happy. That's your goal. Like how mother feel to the child. You know, mother's main goal in this life is to make sure child have a good life. So that is main goal. So that way they wishing them to be happiness. But here, what make us to think that one is because of the recollecting the kindness of the sentient beings. So there's a four different kindness. Kindness of giving your body, kindness of undergoing the hardship for you, kindness of the giving for this life, kindness of the showing in the world. So we receive this for kindness from someone. This is you cannot do by yourself. You know, first of all, it's giving our body. Without our parent, we cannot have this body. When they, you know, like in the Tibetan, we said, when mother is pregnant, she is like in the in the door side, what called the bottom of the door?
That's the threshold.
Yeah, there. She be in or out. It means she can be die or she can be leave. So that is how the situation now is much better because you know, science improved lots. So there's a many way to can. But in the old time, you know, what called the traditional childbirth is a dangerous. Yeah. So they went to, you know, really under hardship of that one, and also you can see when women give the birth, she age a lot, actually, lots of time. You can see, huge difference. This is because she's giving part of her body to the child. I think there's just lots of sacrifice. What I'm saying is, through the sacrifice too, we get this body. So that reason we remember the kindness of giving the body, and the kindness of the undergoing the hardship for you. So those parent, what after our birth, they take care of us until we become independent. Some people think that's their job. Maybe legally that is their job, but morally it's not necessarily, because you don't owe them anything. You don't owe anything to them. I mean, they don't owe you anything. But because of that, their only love and care, they take care of you. That person, you are a stranger. So like Kambopa said, the mother love more this stranger one than her own parent. But when we're born, actually we are a stranger. We don't know nobody, including our parents. We don't know them. But they never treat us as a stranger. They treat us as their own part of the life, their own part of the body. So then they take care of us. During those period of time when they're taking care, it's not come easily. All those food, clothes, and everything that they spend. It's through the under hardship. And this hardship is also many different kind of hardships. And when they give us food, clothes, they not give because they don't need anymore. They don't give us a leftover one. They give us as a fresh one. First, they make us to eat. Then if there's a leftover, they will eat. And those, whatever they giving us is not come easily. Because of that reason, they created lots of negative karma also. So when they created negative karma to creating, providing us, that karma, they have to take the consequences. So you have to think all those beings who are suffering. When you see anyone in the stranger on the street, you must think as maybe this person created really bad karma in the past life, and that reason they are suffering now this life. Maybe I am the reason they created the bad karma. We don't know, honestly. Maybe our sake they created bad karma. So that way, whenever you see, whenever you hear, whenever you learn someone that kind of unfavorable circumstance, you think that maybe something have to do with me, because they try to take care of me. That way, they created this negative karma. Look, like hunter, fisher, butchers. They create a heavy negative karma. For what reasons? Even those some thieves, robbers, they're not stealing things from only for themselves. Sometimes they steal because they want to feed their children. Like you see these days, everybody have a camera, so you see lots of time people stealing from the store, like a baby diapers, the food and the things that is really need for the baby. Why they have to steal? Because they have nothing to give to baby, so they cannot. They sacrifice their own breaking the law. They can go to jail, but they just want to take care of the baby. So that is through the under hardship they give us. So that reason, you have to remember they are going under hardship. And like Gaboba used this one as an example. He said, wearing the star as a head, wearing all the moisture and the weight as a shoes, and all the leg give to the feet to the dog, and the face give to the other human beings. So that is like wearing the star's head mean that day and night they work. Even the night time, most of people resting, but some people couldn't rest. And the wearing the moisture and the weight as our shoes mean that no matter how difficulty they walk on that without worrying. And of course, all time people have no shoes and they walk anywhere they need. And then that time, sometimes dog chase and they bite behind. That way, saying the giving the behind the leg of the flesh to the dog, and giving the flesh of the face to the other mean that like it's not easy to ask in someone favorable. It's embarrassing, but they forget all their embarrassing, and they just go to ask to people to food and whatever. So there are lots of different ways they went to under hardship. So should remember. And kindness of a giving life, third one. It means that since we were born, we don't know how to take care of our own self. If somebody not take care, we're not going to survive more than a few days, maybe 1 or 2. Really, I mean, we are not capable to anything. Only one thing we can do is just cry. Other than that, there's no other ability to take care ourselves, to protect our life. So but someone protect us, someone take care of us. So they give us the life, kindness of giving life. And kindness of showing the world mean that we're not born with educated. We're not born with the knowing of what to do, what is right, what is wrong. So from that, first our teacher was our parent. From there too, until we get all those degrees to build our career, our life. So all those knowledge, wisdom, we learn from someone. And especially, I think first our teacher is always be our parent. Parents' behavior, parents' daily activity, parents' advice, we learn many things. Like His Holiness Dalai Lama always said, my first teacher was my mother, whom I learned how to be loving kindness, compassion. So this 4 kindness we need to receive from somewhere. Without this 4 kindness, we have no hope of this life. So you must remember this 4 kindness. Maybe this 4 kindness can get from one individual. Maybe you can get from the 2 or 3 or 4, or maybe many more. Maybe you give your body from your mother, but maybe undergoing hardship, many people went under hardship for your sake. Many people protect your life. Many people give you the education, knowledge. So you maybe one or many. So this and especially I think under hardship, nowadays we need so many things. Our utilize many objects. Those many objects, many people work hard to create that will make us comfortable life. They're using their time, they're using their energy, they're using their skill, they're using all those their best way to providing what we need. So of course you may think, oh, I pay, but money alone cannot buy all of them. I saw one movie there's a in the desert when some thieves coming, like 2-3 of them on the horse and with a sword.
Sword.
Yeah, so then the person who's running, he said, please don't kill me, just take my gold. He gave me his gold, and the thief said, I don't need gold, I need water. So that is showing us the gold cannot fix all problems. So we need other than the gold. So gold is extra pleasure. Money is an extra pleasure, but beside the money, there's lots of things that we need. So this all is given by someone's pleasure. Otherwise, if you think, oh, I have a money, I pay my money, just eat your money, how you feel. Just weigh your money, how it can keep you warm or not. So just ride on the money and try to get where you need to go. So this is not going to happen. So money alone cannot. So that way, even you pay, it's involve of others' kindness to effort, knowledge, skill. That way we get all this comfortable life. So just remember all the kindness of other beings. So that reason, you need to loving kindness toward all sentient beings. Then loving kindness with the phenomena is an object. It's talking about the when you understand, for noble truth, and you wishing to be all other sentient beings can be understand of this path, so they can get that one. So this phenomena is basically talking about the noble path. So when they understand that they have this knowledge of the noble path, when you understood, you wishing to be, I wish everyone can understand this one, everyone can follow this one, so that way every sentient being can become liberation. So that is what it's talking about. It's not like you love to the phenomena as an object of a material. Don't misunderstand that one. Then non-objectified kindness is talking about when you have a realization of the non-duality wisdom, you wishing to be every sentient being realizing that non-duality. So that way, here said loving kindness with the sentient being, object practiced by the Bodhisattva who just developed the Bodhicitta. It means the ordinary Bodhisattva who don't have any further knowledge or experience or anything, just make the Bodhisattva vow, generate the Bodhicitta, and they wishing to be every sentient to be happy, peace. That is the first one. And loving kindness with the phenomena as an object is practiced by those Bodhisattva who are engaged in the contact of the path. So that is talking about when you understand, you have a knowledge to how to enter into the path to the nirvana, like how to practice the training of the morality, how to practice the training of the samadhi, how to practice the training of the wisdom. When you learn, this is called the engaging in the contact of the path. That is the contact of the path. When you have this path, then you wishing to be everyone can see this path. Everyone can engage in this path, because you know from that path result always be good. So that is showing us a what called objectifying path, objectifying something that when you learn how to practice, you wishing to be other one can practice too. You wishing to be everyone can join in this in this path, particularly whatever you learn, and when you see how benefit from that. Like for example, you have lots of stress in your life, then somehow you meet with someone and that person give you instruction how to meditate, and that meditation release you all of those stress, and those help you a lot, tremendously help you. then you wish it to be, I wish to be all my family can learn this one, so that way they can be free from stress like me. That is what it means the loving kindness to the phenomena. Phenomena as an objectifying concept you understood and you utilizing. When you use it, you get benefit. When you get benefit, you wishing to be your family, your loved one is get same kind of benefit. Don't misunderstand loving kindness phenomena as a, oh, I love my phone, oh, I love my car, that's not talking about the phenomena. Here talking about the, when you learn something phenomenally, how you learn something that benefit for you, something that give you happiness, something that give you bring peace, and you wishing to be all your loved one can join in that path. So that is what is mean the loving kindness with the phenomena as an object, mean that one. Then non-objectified loving kindness means that when you have a realization of the non-duality. So that way I said, non-objectified loving kindness is a practice by the Bodhisattva who achieved the confidence in the unborn Dharma. So confidence in the unborn Dharma means that you have a realization of the non-duality. So this is above 8 bhumi. So then they have a really can see the phenomena are non-duality. You and me, not different. Samsara and nirvana, not different. Good and bad, not different. There's no suffering, there's no joy. So when you have this realization, I'm not talking about the understand, because lots of people understand that one, because many people tell me this. One time I was traveling with someone, and they talking about that there's no samsara and no nirvana. Everything's same. We have conversation, long conversation in the, it's like when they telling me, it seems like their label of the realization is so high, I cannot reach there. For me, it's everything is dualistic. And when they talk, it's completely like equalness, everything. So I was kind of amazed. But then later they got phone call, and they in the shop, business not doing, or something there happened, then they have an immediate reaction on that. It's a totally change. Why is it not selling this one? Why is it, So that is showing us your reality is not duality. Your assumption is not duality. You think you are not, you have understand the non-duality. Maybe you have some understand, some knowledge, but you not have realization. I'm talking about here is a non-objectified loving kindness is somebody have a realization of the non-duality. When they have a realization of the non-duality, they see that directly non-duality, then you wishing every sentient being can see that one. How great benefit can get from there. So that is what it means the non-objectified loving kindness. As a person have confidence on unborn dharma, in the unborn dharma, confidence. Competence come from through the realization, not come through the understand. So like if you see your own naked eye something, then you can talk about that confidently. But you're talking something that you heard from someone. You don't have a full confidence on that. Make sense? So the confidently mean that Bodhisattva who have realization of that non-duality, which is they get above the 8 bhumi. So that way, these 3 different type of loving kindness is divided into the hard stage of the label of the stage. When you are ordinary, you have no realization, you have no understand of the path or anything. Just you have a loving kindness toward to the sentient being as an object. But then your understand, your knowledge, your experience, improvement based on that, and your loving kindness toward is a little bit different too. So it's just like this way. Okay, first you wishing to be everybody is happy. but you don't know how them to become happy. But then you find the solution. Oh, this is really can make happiness, you know. So then you wish everybody can understand that method. Then that method is also improvement. So first is a kind of like avoid all the negative and doing all the good deed, you know, that way, that method is a path called. Then now after 5 is actually absolute understand. When you realize the absolute, then, so this is based on your realization, your loving kindness, object of your loving kindness will change. So that way there's a 3 type of loving kindness. But most important is here, main our practice here is a loving kindness toward the sentient beings. So okay, so first one is mainly emphasizing. Now, what is the measurement of the loving kindness? You can understand loving kindness is the day when you don't have any, you know, what called desire of a personal happiness, and you only think for other beings' sake. That is the complete measurement of a like a complete loving kindness or loving kindness. And this benefit, what kind of benefit is this? There's a called the Rana Garland, Jewel Garland text, and said, if you feed like 300 people every day food, you know, 3 times, is not compatible to meditating loving kindness for 1 instant. And there's also Moonlight Sutra said, if you feel like a millions universe with the precious jewel and offering object, and offering to the Buddha and Bodhisattva, that is not same equal to the meditating loving kindness compassion. I think this is a similar, like if you give to, you know, if you give someone someone really really expensive gift, or you give that their children really good education or something help, you know, if that parent who really love their children, for them actually that's a better gift to take care of the children. So this for the Buddha and Bodhisattva, for them is a better, you know, when you have a loving kindness, compassion is a better offering than you're offering material. So that reason. So this is what is called loving kindness, and loving kindness is also really great protection from any kind of problems. This I heard is true story in Tibet. One person practiced a Yamadaka. This is a story I heard. One person practiced Yamadaka, but somehow his practice went some kind of wrong. So that when he died, he became evil spirit, form of a Yamadaka. So anyone go around where the spirits live, people get hurt, sick, and dying. And there are many lama when try to perform the ritual to, you know, subdue the evil spirit. There's a ritual, wrathful ritual. They try, but nobody control this evil spirit. Why? Because he practiced whole life Yamadaka. So that way his body become a Yamadaka, but not mind's not. So he recited like so many mantras, so that way nobody can control him. But then there's one simple monk walking toward to this evil spirit near, and that simple monk saw the spirit as a become evil, but a Yamadaga form. So that monk cried immediately. Why he cried is because he thought, so sad that this person work, practice really hard, but his practice went wrong, something, so that way he born to the evil spirit. So he was really upset in this evil spirit. And this evil spirit came down, did bowing to him, to the prostration, said, until now, there are many practitioners came. Everyone want to hunt me, everyone want to kill me, but they cannot. Only you care about me, only you cry for me. So I can do anything what you ask me. Just name, I will do anything for you. So even those evil spirit, lots of people have this, especially Asian culture, lots of people have evil spirit to harm, So they are seeking the loving kindness, care, compassion, actually. Because sometimes you think, oh, Ratu practice can destroy them. You don't have enough power to can destroy them. Even you recite those Ratu mantra, you don't have the power. If you give to the really small child, really heavy gun, heavy machine gun, the child cannot carry the gun, forget about the shooting. So we are like that, carrying on the really heavy wrathful practice and with the weak body of the merit, cannot harm to them. No matter how much you using those wrathful mantra, your mantra not going to help. But if you truly meditate loving kindness, compassion toward them, it will definitely help to protect you from those all evil spirit and protect them from being evilness, of the suffering of being evilness. So that way, the Gamboba said, this is the best protection for the yourself and other is the will of this, loving kindness. Jidisumgun in the Gungjik said, Bodhicitta is the will of a supreme protection. There's no greater protection than Bodhicitta. So that's a meditation on the loving kindness. Then compassion. When the loving kindness is perfectly in this way, the practice of compassion is not difficult. If you care someone, if you care of someone, when you see those people are suffering, you cannot rest. You cannot, take break. So that is what is compassion mean. The compassion with the sentient being as an object. Develop compassion by seeing the suffering of sentient being in the lower realm or so forth. So now you have to imagine this way. Okay, in these lives, your loved one, somebody really you truly love, somebody really care about. If that individual is in the hell, what are you going to do? Suffering like hell beings, what are you going to do? How will you protect them? How will you work hard to try to liberate them? Like lots of people come asking, go to the monastery, go to the High Lama. They always requesting their loved one who passed away, they pray for them. So, because we really want to get them to happy. So that way earlier I said, maybe those hell beings reborn in the hell because they created negative, of course they created negative karma, but maybe they created negative karma for our sake. We don't know, honestly. They are stranger, but not necessarily in the past life, they are stranger to us. Sometimes karma is really funny, there's that way. There's one quote saying it's a Pasha Sashi Mala, the Dawa Dama Balasu, Chumi Kwe Rubumor, coincidence, one arhat is walking, one guy is carrying the baby in the lap, eating the fish, and dog coming and hoping to get some food from when he was eating, and he was throwing rock on the dog. So this arhat looked their past life. The fish was his father, born in the fish, and the dog was his mother, who was born in the dog. The baby who's carrying in his lap was his enemy, who killed him in the past. So it's just, sometimes it's not necessarily enemy as an enemy and loved one as a loved one in this life from the past. So that way, just imagine if the hell beings just try to recollect in the suffering of the hell beings we talked last time. If your loved one is in there, in that this kind of suffering, can you be rest? So that reason, until you have a pure loving kindness, compassion is not easy to come. So once you have a pure kindness, then compassion is just applied with this way. So then all the sentient beings in the lower realm who are suffering, if that's my mother, my father, my loved one, how are you going to feel? And the hungry ghost, animal, human, all this is, imagine all those sufferings. If that is my loved one, how are you going to feel? So that is what compassion means. And compassion with the phenomena, that's the object. When one is well trained in the practice of the Four Noble Truth, like truth of the suffering, truth of the source of suffering, truth of the cessation, and truth of the noble path, one will train in the practice of the Four Noble Truth, understand the cause and result, and has a dispel the holding the permanence and solidity. Compassion arising toward those who are confused and hold the permanence and the solidity through the not understand the cause and result. Like normally we see as a permanent and solidity all the phenomena. We don't have this impermanent sense of impermanent. We don't have a sense of a essenceless the phenomena. So because we don't understand the noble truth. So once you understand this noble truth, then you wishing to be every sentient being can understand this noble truth. So that is called the compassion toward the phenomena. Mean the phenomena is understand of the noble truth. That is what phenomena mean. Then you wishing to be, everyone can be understand this, what you understood. Because many sentient beings confused. Everyone wishing to be happy. But most of the time they create a negative karma to hoping that negative action can give them happiness. Because they don't not knowing of the noble path. Some people like stealing, lying, robbing, lots of negative action do. The hope is they hope that what called happiness. But the reality is those action sooner or later will haunt you. It will never give you the peace or happiness. Even nobody know what you have done. Your subconscious know. You know yourself. You never get peace of mind when you do that one. So that way you never get a good sleep. You never get good enjoy of the food or anything. Constantly you live really miserable life. You're running from the law. You're running from the karma. Try to run, but you cannot run from those. Because even you can run from everyone else, but you cannot run from yourself. Make sense? So that way you cannot escape from that. So that is that is called the misunderstood of the sentient being because of the ignorance and confusion. They try to make them try to pursue the happiness, but they wrongly engaging on the negative. And from that, engaging on the negative cannot give you true happiness. So that way, you're hoping sentient being can understand this true noble path. Noble path mean there's a two way. One, all the noble being follow in this four subject. Noble being understood this four subject. That we call the noble truth. Another way is say anyone follow on this, anyone who understand this one can become a noble. So that we call the noble truth. It's not like some noble one truth, but no ordinary not truth. It's not that way, you know. So that way is called the noble truth. And when you have this path of the noble truth, and you can understand, you can practice, and you wish it to be every sentient being can understand that way. That is called the compassion with the phenomena. And also the non-object by the compassion, once establishing the equipoise, and one will realize the phenomena as a nature of the emptiness, and the compassion arising especially for those sentient beings who perceive everything as real. So some people asking me to how I know have a realization of the emptiness. I mean, it's nothing secret for when you really realizing it's nothing secret. It's like how I know I seen tree. You know, if your eye see the tree, you know exactly what you saw. So then a sign of a realization of the emptiness also increase your compassion. More you become close to the emptiness, your compassion will increase. Like that time, even that you're not going to have a hatred to your enemy. Why? Because then you clearly see how deluded they are, how confused they are, how ignorant they are. So that way, they have no problem to meditate on the compassion. We have a real problem with the meditate compassion toward our enemy. Why? Because we have no clue about the emptiness. Make sense? So that way, for us, everything is real. You know, we perceive everything real. That way, we have a enemy, we have a friend, loved one, and all this dualistic concept. So that way, we have difficulty to meditate in loving kindness, compassion toward every sentient being. But Bodhisattva, who have a truly realization of the emptiness, they have no problem to meditate in loving compassion toward the sentient beings, particularly sentient beings who with the confuse their life with the ignorance. So these two are the main point of bring you generally the bodhicitta. This is the you know, when you want to plant the seed, you need what you need is a good soil and good moisture. Yeah. So loving kindness is like a really healthy soil, and compassion is a really healthy moisture. On that, you need wisdom of heat. All three come really, you know, those three conditions come together. You don't need to worry about the seed growing. So one of these are lacking, then you have a worry about the seed. You know, the farmer, they have good soil, have good rain, and the good weather. They don't worry about. They knew they could have a great harvest in the end of the summer. But when one of those is not working, their farmers will be worried. Maybe they not find the good soil, just definitely have to worry. Or even they have a good soil, if there's no good rain, moisture, you know, and that make them worry. If they have a rain and so good soil, but the weather is becoming extremely hot or extremely cold, it can become a problem. So when those all come together, you don't need to worry about your crops. So same way, then seed of bodhicitta will be healthy way to grow, and you can become Buddhahood. But now this one, this true loving kindness and compassion is like everyone can same way to meditate. It's not. You have to examine your own state of the mind, because some people have an anxious problem, stress, anxious. I know what called. I think yes, like they have, not stress or anxious, or sometimes it's used as a word as a. Mind is not really balanced. Some have this, I think it's just like a
depression, mood fluctuating up and down.
no. Like depression, or I think can say depression, anxious, or this kind of agitation, mind with agitation. Loving kindness is not good, because it get worse. Sorry, compassion is not good. I'm sorry, compassion is not good. Thinking about the suffering, it make worse. So meditate more, majority of time is more meditate on the loving kindness when you have that one. But if your mind is full of arrogance, attachment, and this kind of emotion is really strong, you need more focus on the loving kindness. So the compassion. So if you have a more type of aversion, type of emotion, meditate mostly is a loving kindness. If you have a more like a attachment type of a mind, state of mind, mostly focusing on the loving kindness. So these two are bring to the mind to the balance meditation, because some people have a stronger emotion of like hatred, jealousy, anger. That's kind of like a in the Buddhism is called the burning mind. Burning mind means there's kind of heat in their mind. Those are including anxious, stress, that kind of emotion. If you have a strong, don't meditate the loving kindness, because it get worse. So don't meditate on the compassion. I'm confused myself. Don't meditate on the compassion, because compassion means that you think about the suffering of our sentient beings. It make worse your state of the mind. But sometimes you have a strong self-cherishing, arrogantness, attachment, and also kind of dullness, and that time you need to meditate on the loving kindness. So like Kamabhati meditation, there's two different obstacles called agitation and dullness. Yeah. So when you have a more type of agitation, you need meditate loving kindness to bring calm your mind. But if you have a more type of dullness, then you need to meditate more mind, make more active to the meditate on the compassion, by thinking sentient beings are suffering. So once you have this tool, generating bodhicitta is not difficult. But so far, we received the bodhisattva vow many times. How many times we receive? I mean, if you count all those times you receive the bodhisattva vow from those high lama, do you think you become bodhisattva? It's really difficult to say yes. Why? Because I mean, our compassion, loving kindness is not there. When we don't have loving kindness and compassion not there, cannot be bodhicitta, because bodhicitta is grow from them. Like without the soil, without the moisture, without the heat, cannot grow the crops like corn, barley, rice. And they cannot grow, no matter how healthy seed you have. So the ceremony is just receive the blessings. So one time actually Dalai Lama said, I gave a Bodhisattva vow everywhere, because every time there's a really huge gather comes, every time he gave the Bodhisattva vow, and he said, I'm not hoping to you become a Bodhisattva today, but I hope by giving this many time, someday you become a Bodhisattva. So that ceremony cannot make you, So I think with this, we can have good chance. So just think about the loving kindness and compassion toward the sentient being. Then other two, joy and equanimity, will come. Joy means now you care someone so much. Whenever you see those beings are happy, success, you never get jealous. You get pure joy. Like when kids are successful, parents get truly joy. That's called the joy. Then equanimity means then you have this feeling of the love and compassion toward to the every sentient beings. Because sometimes you see in the prayer, equanimity is in the prayer said, may they rest equanimity free from attachment, aversion. Just not having attachment, aversion alone cannot become equanimity. If that is the case, that is somebody who have no attachment and no aversion, that person have that one have equanimity, then everyone have equanimity except the conceptual one. Earth have equanimity, house have equanimity, view have equanimity, sun have equanimity. They become a Buddha before us. So it's not talking about that you don't have any more, not good enough to not having attachment, aversion is not become. And so we're talking about that your meditation of the loving kindness, compassion, without the attachment and aversion, without the dualistic, without the differential, without the discrimination. When you have a loving kindness, compassion, without the discrimination of the attachment, aversion, that is called the equanimity. If you don't have a loving kindness, compassion, you don't have equanimity. Period. Yeah. So only who can have equanimity according to the four immeasurable is a person who have a understand and meditation on the loving kindness and compassion. So that way, most important is these two, loving kindness and compassion. When you have a loving kindness, compassion, joy and equanimity will come there. If you don't have a loving kindness, compassion, no matter how mutual feeling you have, it's not becoming equanimity. Because mutual feeling we have when we're sleeping, last time we have this mutual feeling. That's not become a part of the four immeasurable. Lots of people go to use the, a drug or alcohol sometimes, they can bring to the mutual feeling from certain substance. Sometimes when you're eating really good meal, after that little while, you get mutual feeling, So it's not like that feeling can make you equanimity. Equanimity means somebody who practitioner loving kindness and compassion. That your loving kindness, compassion is you can have that feeling as equally, mutually, then it's becoming equanimity. Otherwise, just not have an aversion, not have an attachment, it alone is ignorant. Without the loving kindness, compassion, just no attachment, no aversion, it's just ignorant. Every time when we're deeply ignorant, we have this feeling. That's not part of the four immeasurable. So these two are, I think, essential point of how to generate the mind of enlightenment. So bodhicitta. Without the bodhicitta, no one can become a Buddha. So that way I said, being attached to the peace. So how to remove that antidote is loving kindness, compassion. Okay, so today we stop here. Think about that. Think about the four immeasurable: love, compassion, joy, equanimity, and particularly think about the love, how you love, what make you love, and what is the method to love, what is the reason to love, why you have to love. And when you have this when you have this truly, compassion will come. When there's a fire, there will be smoke. You don't have to worry about the smoke. It will come. So when there's a loving kindness, there will be compassion. Without the loving kindness, then nobody can have compassion. Like if you see stranger one suffering on the street, you may feel a little bit, but you don't care that much. When you walk away, your feeling of it's gone. But if you see your loved one is suffering, it will stay with you forever. When you see that one, it never go away, because that is a compassion. How different compassion toward to the stranger one and compassion toward to the loved one. So that reason we need the loving kindness first, then compassion will come. No need to put effort. Right now we need so much effort to try to bring them. Why? Because our loving kindness is not strong enough. That way, even we try to meditate so forcefully, compassion and not feel much. So just need to improve our loving kindness, and compassion will come. Okay, with this, thank you so much, everyone, especially Ms. Hoy, you're translating. So thank you.
See you tomorrow, Kempala.